Good morning, good morning. What's up, peoples? So, yeah, that's my topic today, right? We all been cheated on before, and I think how you handle a process like that when you're going through it is kind of something that sets you up for the rest of your life. Yeah, so I've been cheated on in my past time, and I think what got me through most of the time was the fact that I needed time to myself to collect myself. One thing I've always learned, especially throughout the course of time, is it's okay to be angry, but it's what you do out of that anger, again, that sets you up. I prided myself always on having a good reputation and moving forward with life and just wanting better for myself. So I've always had a thought process to just want to be a better version of me. One of the first things we all go through when we've been cheated on is we blame ourselves. What could we do better? What kind of better person could we be for them? If we were better, if we would kill all of that shit, because it really ain't got nothing to do with you. When a person is doing that, is they got their own personal demons that they gotta get through, and they have to get themselves better. There's really not much of anything that you could have did better other than figure out a way to love yourself. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a better solution that could have happened in the time, but it's a part of the process. Nobody's perfect. And normally when people commit to something, they commit to what you're doing for them. And when you're not doing those things for them in the current time, like that's taken away, and now they have to kind of count on loving themselves, and they haven't quite gotten to that level of love of self yet, or self-love yet, you just become a casualty of it because you're with that person. And then you got some decisions to make. You're going to stick in it or you're going to move on. Now, what I've done in the past time is kind of gauge the conversation of what's going on in that time period, or kind of pay closer attention to that person. It's an old scripture, as a matter of fact. Be quick to listen, but slow to speak. One thing that did help me out in those times is that, yeah, I was emotional. Yeah, I was a little angry. I was upset, but I didn't lose it. I didn't break stuff. I didn't want to get into a fight. I didn't want to kill the person. Because at the end of the day, they're an individual going through life just like you're an individual going through life. And people fuck up, you know? People just be wanting, they want different things they just want different things in life. I should say that they're going through a variety of emotions, and they're honestly still just trying to figure themselves out. And again, you just so happen to be with the person, so yeah, you become a casualty of it. And the reason why, you get caught up in this process of being cheated on is because it's a little dishonesty going on. And the dishonesty being, they're not letting you know how they really feel, what's going on, based on what they're seeing or based on what you're doing. Or they're letting you know and you're not paying attention. They're just saying it in other words. A lot of us don't speak direct when we are going through things like that, and it ends up getting us in a little bit of trouble, right? So the flip side of that, it sounds a little weird, but the person, they actually care about you. They're cheating on you because, they're trying to experience a couple things or something like that, but they also love and care about you. They also want to keep you. It's sort of like having their cake and eat it too. And it's almost like they're weighing their options out. And nobody likes to play second fiddle or nothing like that, right? You'd rather be someone's first option when things go on. But your first option should always be you. You should have a high value for yourself. You should love yourself off the jump already anyway. And anything that they give you on top of that is just extra. And that's a big, big piece of the puzzle right there with you loving yourself. You know what I'm saying? Those are some things that you really want to pay attention to and kind of really cultivate in your thought process. Because when you love yourself, everything changes. So an attribute of high emotional intelligence is learning to guard your heart. And in order for you to guard your heart, you got to think. You got to actually use your mind and think your way through a situation. So in that process, you really got to get out of your feelings. You got to get out of your feelings, take some time to yourself, Get away from everybody. If you have the opportunity to go out in nature, have a conversation with yourself. Get into a personal, private space where you can talk to you. Get all that anger about you. Get that emotion about you. Emotion is electric motion. That means it's electricity moving through your body, through the vehicle of anger or something like that, or whatever it is that you're experiencing at the time. People respond to traumatic situations relatively different. And yeah, I shouldn't air quote that because going through heartbreak is very traumatic. Sometimes you'd rather go through any other kind of pain than to go through heartache because it lingers for a little while, right? But the best way to recover from that is to get some personal time to yourself to think it through. And then, get your questions and everything together. Come back and talk to your current partner that has cheated on you and have your questions in order. And really pay attention to how they respond to those questions. Because you really don't want to leave a situation if you've built something and you see a lot of potential and growth there. Or you may just feel as if you've outgrown that person and you do want to move on. But that's why you want to ask them those questions, though, so you can really figure out what direction you're trying to go in and what you're trying to do with your life. When you take that personal time to think for self, what you're doing is you're combining your heart and your mind to get on the same page. And sure, people tell you all the time to follow your heart, and they never tell you to take your brain with you. That's vitally important. Follow your heart, yeah, sure. Follow your heart. Follow that vibe. Follow your gut feeling. Follow your intuition. That's essentially what they're talking about, right? But take your brain with you. Don't follow a situation without thinking it through. Don't overthink it, but put them on the same page. Get yourself, in the best possible situation and predicament. And to be honest with you, sometimes it just might be staying with the person that you're with. If this is an offense and it's not emotionally abusive or verbally abusive or definitely not physically abusive. If there's any forms of abuse like that going on and that outweighs the positives, get away. That's not a situation that you want to be in. You want to get back to a healthy place of self before you induce or allow any more trauma to be bestowed upon you. Those are just things you just don't want to go through. The reason why I love that quote or phrase, it's a scripture actually as well, be quick to listen but slow to speak, is because you really want to pay attention to what the person is saying. They'll repeat themselves a number of times, and whatever they repeat, that's how they really feel. And that's a good way. I can't say, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but that's a good way to make a decision as to if you want to stay or if you want to move on, or to figure out where you may have been wrong in this situation. Normally, we don't take the thought process that when a person cheats on you that we did anything wrong, because the offense on the table is not a strike against us per se. Even though we put a lot of that critique, and not to contradict myself, but you put a lot of that critiquing on yourself, you weigh heavy on yourself for the most part. When you feel in a certain kind of way and you're trying to shake it off, we do a lot of this. We do a lot of finger pointing, not realizing that we do need to take some of that into our internal and really think about how we can progress and be better persons. And it's always going to bring you back to square one. Self-love, your love of self. Because when you love yourself and you have a high standard for yourself, you just operate differently. You're literally operating more or less like the king and queen on the chessboard, so to speak, right? So, and another thing about that is once you speak your words, it's hard to take that back. Words spoken is hard to take back. You can give and take money back. You can give and take any object back, but your words, when they leave, it's already out in the air. They already heard it. People say, I take that back. No, you can't take that back because the person already heard it. Think about it, right? In a court of law, once the judge will tell the jury to dismiss what they just heard the lawyer say, the lawyer already knows it. You can dismiss it all you want. You can disregard it all you want, but they already heard it. And what they heard is still going to be a determining factor with the decision making. Also, that depends on the judge and what they do too. But yeah, when you've already heard something, you've already heard something. And that's still dictating where the situation is going to go. It's the same way in relationships. Be quick to listen and slow to speak and really figure out what the person is saying. I would love to see us as a society get to a point where we change the narrative, where we change how media views certain things, where we're developing and growing past heartache, where instead of it being a roadblock or a brick wall in front of us, it's more like a speed bump. And we operating from a sense of honesty anyway, where you don't got to find out that somebody's been sneaking behind your back or something like that, while you feel like you've been checking all the boxes and doing everything you need to do. Now, if you just ain't been checking all the boxes and you just out there doing what you want to do and you get cheated on, you really don't got no legs to stand on with being angry and upset with and things like that. Because you've been out there doing what you've been doing. You really do need to take some self-reflection and pay attention to what exactly you've been doing. But yeah, what's helped me in past time when I've been cheated on is really taking some time to myself to think it through, whether if I wanted to stay or if I wanted to leave. And that really got me to a better place with wanting to be a better person. I'll give you a little bit more, right? This was years ago. One of my exes had cheated on me, and she didn't even know that I knew she was entertaining or conversing with another guy. She didn't know that I knew a lot of the stuff that was going on. Now, it started as just entertainment, but I found out further details afterwards. And yeah, in that process, I was upset. I was angry. I wanted to call it off. I wanted to move on because, I still had a pretty high value in myself, and I know I can find somebody else. I know I had other options. I don't like to speak about people as options, but it's a thing. We all got other options and different people that we can talk to, but running to another person wasn't what I wanted to do because I didn't think that was going to fix anything. Honestly, the first thing I thought about is what can I change about myself? And normally that happens when you're not operating out of a sense of honesty. If you just want sex from a person, tell them that. If you are with your partner and you want to see other people, tell them that. Give them that same option. Give them the same freedom that you're asking for. It never ends good when you want to keep a person tucked away and go do what you want to do. It just don't work like that. And yeah, what you will find, when you are with a partner and they're not willing to share or something like that, is just that. They're not willing to share. But at least you did the right thing in giving them that option with bringing that up to them. And when you bring that up to them and they want to keep you and they don't want to share you, they particularly start to talk to you a little bit different to figure out what it is that they're doing wrong. Their ears are wide open to listen to you now. Just like your ears should be wide open to listen to them. And you come to a sense of compromise or an agreement of something. You never know. That person might accelerate the process in understanding how to love you in your love language. It's a real old concept. The truth shall set you free. Knowing the truth shall set you free. Wisdom is acting on that truth. And honestly, every time I've done that in my life, nothing but good karma came my way. Some of you need to get back to governing your life by principles, but we'll talk about that in another segment. Peace.